Well, hello there, and welcome to Roland's Reviews. There's one thing which is always constant in the Star Wars universe. It's always been there and always will. And no, I'm not talking about the excess amount of Chewbacca's Wookiee hair. You don't even have to be a true Star Wars fanatic to know what the answer is. That's right, I'm talking about the Force. Back when I was a kid, I always pondered on this mysterious phenomenon. Is it some kind of superpower? Could it be some kind of cosmic magic? It cannot be harnessed or made physical into some kind of object or weapon. The Force cannot be embodied or ingested. No one can acquire the Force, but it can be controlled in training. And it's definitely not a movie MacGuffin. The Force only exists due to its balance, elevated towards the light or plunged into darkness. And I'm not talking about hokey religions and ancient weapons in comparison to having a good blaster by your side. Just listen to this old hermit. He knows a thing or two about the Force.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
Was that all a bit too much to take in at once, Luke? Don't worry, R2's seen the prequels. He can fill you in on the way. So, it's time to board your X-Wing, because we're off to the Dagobah system. And I hear there's plenty of parking. The Swamp Planet it is then. Just make sure you've brought your Star Wars figure survival kit, because you're going to be needing it. Yes, in this episode, we're going to be taking a trip to the Empire Strikes Back Dagobah Action Playset by Kenner. Let's have a look at the box then, shall we? But before I go into the details, I must point something out to you. Just look at this. No, that's not Marmite on the box, and it's definitely not Bantha Poodoo. For those of you who had this playset and its box, you may be aware of what I like to call spongification. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later in the video. Anyway, let's take a look at this playset's action features. And it says here, recreate Darth and Luke's lightsaber battle with these action levers. Help Luke master the Force with the levitation action lever. And that's all it says. There are a few more action features to this set, but I'll have a look at that later on. Okie doke, let's get it out of the box, shall we? The Dagobah playset came packaged with Dagobah plastic base, 2 sections for Yoda's hut and tree stump, 2 cargo boxes, a levitation arm, and in my case, it was packaged with 2 plastic branches. According to my research, the original box came packaged with anyone? Yes, the 1 branch. That's a bit of a Star Wars packaging rarity. This must be some sort of special branch.
I don't see what's so special about that.
I've got a degree in computer science. That's what.
Yeah, that's quite special.
Thanks, Neil. Right, I'm going to use my Force powers to put this thing together. It certainly looks very swampy, doesn't it? Come on, Yoda, can we go inside now? I want to watch the telly.
What a creepy swamp!
It's Kenner's new Dagobah Action Playset. You have to put it together. Action figures each sold separately.
Yoda, I'm stuck! Fear not, Luke Skywalker. I'll save you. Now I'll teach you the ways of the Jedi with the lightsaber. Now how to levitate. I'm trying, Yoda. I did it!
New Dagobah Action Playset from Kenner's Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately.
The year is 1981, and the whole world has caught Star Wars fever. People just can't get enough of Star Wars. What do you think, little girl?
I think it was good.
Just good?
No, fantastic.
Yes, that's better. But there were some critics out there.
But I didn't like the bit when the man chopped off the person's arm.
Why not?
Because there was blood.
Oh, but don't we like blood?
No.
Yes, a young Kathleen Kennedy there. With The Empire Strikes Back still in the cinemas, the excitement still grows.
I've been waiting all year, and I'm going to be going again.
And Kenner's Star Wars toy range is still selling like hotcakes. With the release of our little green friend, Yoda needed somewhere to inhabit. So, the Dagobah Playset was released. And a year later, it was reissued once more. This time, it was released with a Jedi training backpack. A nice little feature allowing Luke Skywalker to get close and personal with the Force. The Jedi training backpack was also released in the Star Wars figure Action Survival Kit. I don't own one of these backpacks, so it probably won't feature in this video. Probably. Right then, swamps. It seems at the time, having a swamp scene in a movie was flavour of the month. We had Flash Gordon, released in the same year, Krull, a few years later, followed by The Never-Ending Story, and then The Princess Bride. I don't know what it was about this particular time period. It seems we just loved a swamp scene. And considering how much screen time was spent at the Dagobah system, this playset was an obvious choice. I myself received this playset on my 7th birthday. I was hoping for an AT-AT, but that didn't matter. I loved it, because this was my first Star Wars playset. Just look how happy I am. So then, let's put on your Star Wars Wellingtons, because we're going to have a closer look at what this playset has to offer. First up, let's help Luke master the Force with these action features. You can raise and rotate your action figure with the levitation arm on the other side of the stump. Quite the gymnast, aren't you, Luke? Pressing down on the brown boulder allows Luke to release his Force powers on those cargo crates. And what about you, R2? Do you fancy feeling the Force? Don't worry, I assure you, it won't hurt. With the use of the adapter, you can slide on R2 to give him some forceful action. Next up, the battle action levers. Oh bloody hell! What the heck is Darth Vader doing here? Keep your guard up, Luke. This action feature works really well. I love a good laser sword tussle. It all seems to be going well for this young Padawan. Until you realise Bespin Luke, with his cack-handed lightsaber grip, is no match for Darth Vader's telescopic saber. Oh shit. I'm never gonna get that back.
He completely messed that up, didn't he, Barry?
It's lucky he just lost his lightsaber and not his head, Trevor.
And to make things worse, Luke doesn't even know he's his father yet.
Shh! Keep it down, Trev. You'll ruin the plot for people.
Oh shit, sorry.
Ha! Thank you. Those guys are so funny. Anyway, let's talk about this sponge situation. If you're a proud owner of this playset and still have its sponge intact, consider yourself lucky. My sponge perished years ago. I have no idea how this process happens, or maybe the chemicals in the sponge just break down over time, causing spongification. A quick dash to the cupboard under the kitchen sink and grab yourself a sponge. Any colour will do, don't use pink. Fashion it to the desired shape, and hey presto, a quick fix. Very spongy. Of course, sponge replacements are available online, but R2-D2 doesn't seem to mind. Let's have a look at display alternatives. And oh no, Luke's just gone and crashed his X-Wing. You're gonna have to get your waterproofs on, Luke. Don't forget your supplies. Don't worry, R2's in tow. And to be honest, it's not that far of a trek. We'll soon have your camp up and running very soon. Don't forget, Luke, you seek Yoda. Oh, there he is. You guys should seek some shelter. Off to Yoda's hut it is then. Easy enough for Yoda, but how the hell am I going to get Luke inside? Easy. Cross section, here we come. That's better. Do you fancy some soup, Luke? Or maybe some root tea? And once you get inside, the sculpting on this playset is second to none. The details are exquisite. And if you look closely, you can actually see the fingerprints from the sculptor. And if you don't know already, the guy who sculpted this playset left his daughter's initials moulded on this lizard. Cheeky. Moving cargo boxes using the Force is one thing, but can Luke now save his X-Wing? Too big is it, Luke? It's down to you now, Yoda. You can't believe your eyes, can you, Luke? Well, that's why you failed. And now it's time to catch up with the ghost of Obi-Wan. Not that one! Get it off! That's better. Vintage sweetness. Oh, and look, Luke's proper excited to see old Ben. Okay, I think that's all the action features covered then. Hold on a second. I've got an idea. You're right there, Chewie. You're not going to need this, are you? Sorry, 3PO. By utilising Chewbacca's carry net, you could use it for a Jedi training pack. Let's try that spinning forward Jedi trick, like you see in the movie. Whoa! What a Jedi fail. You could take this playset at face value and just call it Yoda's hut. But it's not. It's much more than that. It cleverly combines all the features we saw at the Dagobah in The Empire Strikes Back. It is indeed Yoda's sanctuary on the inside, but on the other side, it conjures up darkness and conflict when Luke experiences failure in the dark side cave. But to counter that, it turns to the light with the use of Luke's training and teachings from Yoda. You could say this playset is a sum of all its parts, with the dark side and a light side and the Force in between. This playset gave us more information about the ways of the Force, and we all soaked up that extra knowledge like a sponge. If you're a vintage Star Wars collector and haven't got one of these sets, I would force you to track one down. Do you like talking about all things Star Wars? 'Cause I do. And if you do, why not join the Pally Boys live stream? 2 hours of Star Wars chat every weeknight from 8 PM till 10. So just come and check us out at Blue Harvest How to Collect Toys channel. You can show your toys off. What have you got there, Matt?
Going up. So you get all of these for £6.
That's a big one.
£6 for that.
Thanks again for watching this episode. And remember to like, comment and subscribe. Stay safe and may the Force be with you. Right, you can all bog off now. Do you get it?